So Sprinklr had insane growth over the 10 years you were
Yeah.
there, going from like 5 million in revenue to 500 million plus. And the company went public in June 2021. What was IPO day like for you?
That was a day. I mean, you work with leaders over time, and they talk about, oh, we're going to IPO, right? And you just kept sensing it was going to happen, and always wanted to do it, and it's like a dream, right? It's just out there. But I remember we finally filed our S1. We were so excited, and then this was in the middle of COVID, right? So we were really fortunate, and happened to be when we filed the S1 and when it was set to IPO. The New York Stock Exchange lifted their protocol, or was they finally let people back on the floor. We were the first IPO post-COVID allowed back on the floor. So went up to New York City and threw a huge party, and it was great. It was on the floor, ringing the bell with Jim Cramer right behind us. But that was a day I will certainly always remember. It's what you join early stage companies for. I would imagine a liquidity event is probably fun in any respect, but the ability to be on the floor of the stock exchange and hear the bell ring and cheer and chant and seeing that all those years later was just freaking awesome.
Yeah, you spend like so much time growing up at a startup, like looking at that iconic image of the stock exchange. You're just like one day, and I can't imagine. I think about that with Lattice. I'm no longer there, but I'm like, Lattice, knock on wood, is going to IPO someday, and it's like I'm just hoping I get invited to like a sub party around the New York Stock Exchange. That's my goal. Yeah,
it was. I felt very fortunate to be part of that.
And like, what was this journey like for you on a personal level? I mean, it must have been crazy trying to go. You went through probably so many iterations of the company, so many different people, and like the company changed so much. Like, how were you able to kind of keep up with this company growth curve and sort of survive for 10 years there?
Yeah. So I think it's a couple of things. Like, one, it was rewarding in every sense, be it personally, professionally, financially. Like, the company was always great to me. I got married, had both my boys while working there. I went through sickness while I was working there. The company was always great to me. It provided me the opportunities to sell to the biggest companies in the world, travel the globe, and then certainly to go through a liquidity event like an IPO helped set me up financially. So I felt really fortunate. I think the biggest thing over that, anyone thinking about having a big run in a company, or do I leave, or like all those things that go through your mind, I think there's a few things. One, I used to say there's two constants. One is speed, the other is change. So that's a definite constant in any high growth company. You've got to have the growth mindset, and just be open to challenges and open to learn. If you're not okay being humbled constantly, get knocked down, pick your ass up, like just go figure it out. I think it's really, really critical. I think the other part is, like, I stayed for a long time. Is I remember having lots of colleagues who, they got off the bus early and they were like, oh, I found this opportunity, sounded really interesting. And then it didn't work out after a year or 2 years. And then I'd see a bunch of folks, they're on job 2 or job 3 a couple of years later, and they were trying to constantly recreate the special thing we have with the people and the technology and the timing. It's just so hard to recreate. And I'm unfailingly loyal. So all of those things made for me sticking around for as long as I did.
Yeah. It's like, there's only so many of these special companies out there that are going to grow that fast and change that much. And it's like, when you sort of have that seat on the rocket ship, you better strap yourself in and stay there as long as you can. And I sort of felt like that at Lattice, where it was like, this is my chance, and I did the last 10 years. I lasted 5 because I wanted to go start a company, but it was still like really hard decision to leave, because it was like, this feels special. And I know it was like, this isn't going to just happen again at any other company.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I'm curious, like, do you have advice for other people who want to go join a high growth company, or maybe they're already like, how can they kind of navigate all the change that happens at the company, and not only navigate it, but like thrive in kind of that natural chaos?
Yeah. So it's what I said before. It's like the simplest thing is mindset, right? Just to use that term, like mindset is everything. If you're not comfortable in that environment, it's not for you, and that's okay. But you have to, like, in that environment, you can't wait around for people to do things for you. I like the Extreme Ownership book from Jocko. You've read that? Like, in small companies, you have to have that mindset of extreme ownership and drive to completion, especially in small companies. So the mindset of learning is a huge one. The also is, I always also had opportunities, right? If I felt that when I wasn't learning, me being bored is a dangerous thing. Constantly go seek to challenge yourself, right, within your current role, and just keep looking for the next challenge, within the company. If it's something that you want to continue to do, and that you can earn, you can go find great opportunity for yourself.